The price of XRP has been formally determined by the central banks at more than $10,000. The Central Bank of Japan, which actually confirmed a buyback, the Central Bank of Ireland, and even the Central Bank of China, which confirmed that they will use XRP and possibly inject over $20 trillion into the XRP ledger, are just a few examples of central banks around the world that have made similar statements. Confirmed reports highlight each of them. In fact, a report by the Central Bank of China highlighted the use of Ripple and stated that a CBDC would be constructed for the Chinese population on top of the XRP ledger. This is just the beginning of what we are discussing today, as the price of XRP has been confirmed by the International Monetary Fund, the Globalized World Bank, and the central banks to be worth over $10,000. We've already seen the announcement made by Brad Carling, the CEO of Ripple, that the company has cooperated with many central banks worldwide for more than 14 years. So these next few months will be crucial. For some, we have made an announcement, and for others, we have not yet. Rebel Labs and the SEC, generally known as the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, reached a settlement that formally ends the SEC case. Just think of all the collaborations that will be revealed over the course of the next few days. Similar circumstances regarding the integration of XORP into their payment systems across all of their branches in the United States of America have been confirmed by Bank of America, the country's largest bank. Each month, this adds a couple $100 billion. Naturally, we are only examining a very small portion of the picture. Real cross-border payments are not what we are examining. The U.S. Federal Reserve announced a cryptocurrency reserve that will be primarily owned by XRP, but we're ignoring it. We're also overlooking the fact that the U.S. Federal Reserve has openly said that XRP will now be used by the U.S. Treasury to settle debt payments, including the U.S. national debt, and that XRP and the XRP ledger are now using the Federal Reserve payment system, also known as FedNow. All of these factors will directly affect XRP's price, pushing it above $10,000. Yet we haven't even taken them into consideration. We have now made the decision to give away free XRP to everyone. As a courtesy, I would want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who has watched this film. Just like the video and leave a remark with XRP subscribe in the comment section. This will let you know that you have subscribed to the channel. You also need to join up for Uphold using the link I provided in the description and complete a transaction. It should take you less than 5 minutes to complete all of this. You may literally take up to $100 and it's free money. With it, you can purchase more cryptocurrency, XRP, or any other cryptocurrency. You can also take that money and use it to pay your bills. This is a chance that won't last long. You should thus proceed immediately this second. Register on Uphold using the URL I provided in the description and complete a transaction. And receive that free money. I mean, the XRP ledger is going to facilitate $1.25 quadrillion. This is the actual figure that we are examining. $125 trillion a year, with a market value of $1.25 quadrillion. Furthermore, this is not a fictitious forecast. The figures we are examining are, after all, rather typical. Additionally, on August 27, 2020, BlackRock and JP Morgan wrote an article confirming that they had reached an agreement to assist in facilitating the $1.24 trillion that will be on the XRP ledger across international borders. Together with the Globalized Bank, Ripple has partnered with the International Swamps and Derivatives Association, ISDA, which is partnered with BlackRock and JP Morgan. The ISDA has partnered with Ripple Labs to help them facilitate the $1.25 quadrillion derivatives market, with JP Morgan and BlackRock also helping that same system to facilitate that enormous amount of money. This is a significant and groundbreaking partnership. A closer look at this cooperation reveals that BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Ripple are all collaborating to help facilitate that enormous sum of money. In the grand scheme of things, however, everything is developing on the XRP ledger. Additionally, we know that XRP will make an extra $27 trillion available, which is perfect capital for banks. To be clear, that amounts to $480 per XRP. This money has never been handled before. Ripple has taken over this market, which has never been touched before. The business consultant has confirmed as well. Numerous organizations, banks, and senior executives from Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and numerous other significant financial players are there, all supporting one another, which is that within the next year or two, tens of billions, tens of trillions, or even hundreds of trillions of dollars might be unlocked. However, it all comes down to the reason we are here, which is Google's disclosure that the Fed is getting ready to accept XRP as a worldwide payment method. In that scenario, just think of the statistics we're examining. Consider the figures. According to reports, Ripple is also repurchasing XRP from the market at the same time. What's causing that? The reason for this is that there isn't enough XRP to go around. Therefore, having more XRP is the only way Ripple can collaborate with more organizations, such as the Federal Reserve. Additionally, Ripple is now being forced to buy XRP back from retail hands and transfer it into institutions since there isn't enough of it to go around. Transferring ownership in this instance back to large institutional investors from regular investors. This is a clear assertion that we have observed. Actually, a similar comment emphasizing that XRP was not intended for retail was confirmed by one of Ripple's top leaders. Retail was never its intended use, and it still isn't. Because those are the people who will truly need and use the technology, as well as the ones that Ripple is primarily aiming for. It is intended for institutions and is made to be in institutional hands. We've also seen this clip, which I believe is really significant, and that's one of the things I want to start off by saying before I end this video. Bitcoin is being replaced by XRP. We've discussed stories in which Forbes emphasizes that XRP will take the place of Bitcoin, that it will reach 59,000, and that it will be the future global financial payment system. And, well, this is all a huge fact. All of this is essentially factual, and there are facts that substantiate this knowledge. However, I want to demonstrate this to you all because, let me say it, it's just more relatable. A huge influencer of yours changed their focus from being an influencer to getting more involved in the cryptocurrency field. Now the co-founder and creator of several cryptocurrency initiatives is going public and claiming that XRP is already the future Bitcoin, that it will eventually replace Bitcoin, and that it is paving the way for Bitcoin. Consider the new audience you are referring to. Dave Portnoy, who is well known for his "I Think It's a Pizza One Bite" films, is this person. This marks the entry of an additional 100 million users into the XRP token, the XRP ledger, and, most importantly, the cryptocurrency sector. These are newcomers to the cryptocurrency industry. However, it's also quite bullish. It's encouraging to see new people joining the market, but it's also encouraging to see that these individuals are investing in XRP rather than Bitcoin, and that even someone with this little knowledge of the cryptocurrency space understands that XRP, not Bitcoin or Ethereum, is where the future of cryptocurrency lies, something that people are only now starting to realize. For this reason, we always advise buying low and selling high. It's because you're experiencing that excitement right now. People are now beginning to notice us, the guys who arrived early, and you're still early as of right now. We have just begun. Therefore, now is the moment once more for non-financial advisors and non-financial methods. No, he is conducting research, but we are beginning to witness the acknowledgement that I ought to receive. This is Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America.